Hello, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good day, good night, whatever time it is, wherever you are. What's up, and welcome to my Black Self, the podcast. How you doing? How you doing? I miss Wendy. Wendy, I'm praying. You in my prayers, girl. You in my prayers or my thoughts, because you everybody ain't got you can't take everybody prayers, but you in my thoughts, girl. You in my thoughts. I'm sitting here with the hookah per usual. Hold on. Y'all do hookah? If you do, what's your favorite flavor? What is your favorite hookah flavor? And do you mix them? Like, I mix a bunch of shit together. If I get a bunch of flavors, I'm just gonna throw them all together. I've realized that about me. I will mix up a hookah flavor. But besides hookah, today we are going to discuss or touch on and talk about uh, good grief. That good old grief that just always comes back around, y'all. Now, I know in the last episode we talked about birthdays, and I spoke on my birthday specifically, but I touched on how I felt that day. But I want to tell y'all how I felt that day. So, my birthday came up, and y'all know that video of that dude that be like, "What you doing tomorrow?" I be like, "Nothing. My birthday tomorrow," or "My birthday tomorrow." Or be like, "It's my birthday. It's my birthday." So I was doing that. I was like, "Yeah, my birthday tomorrow. My birthday tomorrow." Now I typically, just to give y'all some background, I typically don't do anything on my birthday. I never really feel the need to, and I also turned 34 this year. And y'all know I'm stopping to celebrate certain holidays, and my birthday may be one of them. But we'll see how it goes. I never really have plans, or every time I do make plans for my birthday, I always typically cancel them because of the pressure of putting on a birthday. For my birthday, it's a lot. It's pressure. I don't want to be pressurized to enjoy my birthday. But this time around, I got up and I was like, it's my birthday. Talked to a couple people. Then afternoon hit and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I'm not getting a call from my sister today. And when it comes to grief and grieving, all these holidays do is remind you. It's a reminder day. Like, oh, hey, just checking in. Just wanted to let you know that your sister has passed and you're actually not going to get a phone call today. So yeah, deal with that shit. So that is how I was feeling. I just was down. I ignored birthday texts. I ignored calls. And I kind of just sat in it for a while and just was like, damn. I guess you can say I was depressed. But I wasn't. I don't think I was depressed. I was just extremely sad and disappointed and hurt. And it was just a what the fuck feeling. Like, you really not going to call me today? However, my friend, Dr. Creative, did call and sing. He sent me a happy birthday message song. So I was like, oh my gosh, you have no idea how important that is. Like, because my sister used to be the one to do that. And you didn't know that, but I'm glad you did that. Speaking of my sister, I have something. I'll make a separate video of it, but y'all know those little dogs that people get for like their graduation and birthdays, a little dog that everybody could sign. I have one from my 13th birthday, and I did not know my sister signed it until yesterday when me and my father was sitting here in my house. He was like, "Ma, you still got that?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then the air just happened to flip over. It was flipped, and I was like, "Kia's signature is on there." And I was like, oh my God, I didn't know that till just now. So shout out to my ex-boyfriend holding on to that, knowing that it was some type of importance. And I got it when I moved back to Connecticut. Love ya. But in the midst of my grieving, I am equipped now to be there for someone else someone that is very special to me. My best friend, her grandfather passed recently, and we knew he was going to pass. It was a kind of like a slow, we knew he was passing, but he was just gradually going. And he finally passed. And so, I had to, my grief had to step in. Like, what's up? What's up with it? My grief knowledge. So, I just been there for her. And through this time, I have realized, and I'm thankful in a way, that I am prepared and I know kind of what to expect, and I know how to treat someone during this time, during this terrible, difficult time. So y'all know, I told y'all I wasn't going to no funeral. I think I know I told y'all that I am subject to change my mind because I'm an adult and I do what I want. Okay? And I don't want nobody to hold me to nothing. Because as you get older, you have to come out of your own skin sometime and say, oh shit, this is actually important and it's not about me right now. So I was like, girl, I know you want me to go to this funeral. I know I don't want to go to a funeral, but I know I gotta be there. So do you want me to be there? You gotta check. You gotta have this conversation with your friends, child. You gotta have these conversations so you can know where you stand. And she was like, yes. No ifs, ands, and buts. Yes. So I was like, all right. So I had to mentally prepare to go to a funeral. Child. The last funeral I was at was right after my sister's, when my godfather died. He died like a week or two later after my sister. And I knew I had to go to his funeral. So I was like, I said, I will be there. However, I am not going to do the walk-in and, all the typical stuff, but I will be there. You can count on me because I'll be there. And let me just go back real quick, because if you ain't got a friend like mine, you need to check your friends. This friend, she was there when my sister took her last breath. She was at my sister's service. She flew to Atlanta to go to my grandmother's service when my grandmother passed last year. So this is the type of friend I'm talking about. So y'all probably now like, well, nigga, how dare you even question going to this funeral, right? But I did, because that's just me. I'm going to question shit. You've been listening, Malcolm going to be like, oh, I really don't want to go, but you need me to go. You sure? You sure, bitch? So me and my cousin Curtis went. Me and Curtis, he is a part of CT Gents on the Go. He's the dark skin that be in the other videos, in my other podcasts, a couple of my other podcasts, he was there. So me and him went, and we had to do the thing. You know what I'm saying? We had to show up for our girl. And I had to get dressed. She called me, she was like, people wondering what you're going to wear. And I was like, no. Girl, no. I was just going to throw on a blazer. And I just going to keep it simple. And she was like, well, And I'm like, really? This ain't even a funeral. This ain't even about that. But okay. I'm going to show up for your grandpa. I'm showing up for grandpa, okay? I'm coming through. Heels and all, whether he like it or not. I'm showing up. But it was a beautiful service. I was there, and I was not triggered. I was more so concerned about my friend and her family. I was not triggered at this funeral. I was reminded, but I was not triggered. I was not emotionally unwell. I didn't think I would be, but I was concerned that I would be. If that makes sense to you. I guess that's why I've been avoiding them. And honestly, I just don't like the shit. But it was well. It was well. It was a very nice send-off. It was a very nice goodbye. Excuse me. I was able to do that. I was able to spend time with the family shortly after, and I was able to go home and feel good that I was able to support my friend. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is about. So when do you know it is time to support somebody in a trauma that you have experienced, or through a trauma that you've experienced? How do you know when it's time? And I feel like when it's time when this person is a rock, or when you've worked through. It is time when you've worked through your trauma. It is time when you've worked through your grief. It is time when you've had therapy. It is time when you know who you are. It is time when you are ready. When you can do this. When you can say, you know what, I can actually show up for you. I can show up for you. Can you show up for your friends when the shit hits the fan? How do you show up? And do you show up? And what's that? I think it's very important to have the skills to show up for people. And I want to say I show up as, when it's time to show up for somebody, I show up as 100% myself. And I show up with, I'm coming with armor. I'm coming with armor, and I probably got a couple weapons, because sometimes you may have to fight when it's time to show up. I'm just saying. Podcast that I'm listening to, Sarah Jakes, right? Woman Evolved. I started listening to the episode she did with Erica Campbell. I don't remember what it was called. Let me take a look at it really quick. Just Keep Going. And I wanted to listen to it before I did this podcast, but then I didn't want to steal anything they spoke about. So I'm going to listen to it after. And I want to keep y'all in the know with what I'm listening to let y'all know how I'm inspired and how I move and how I continue to go on. And what's it called? Just Keep Going. That inspired me alone. And I was like, no, don't listen to that. Hit the button. Hit record. How do you just keep going? What do you do to just keep going? What helps you to just keep going? I know this is a constant topic of mine. I know I talk about this all the time, but it is something so very important, and you can speak about this in so many different ways because it is a part of my life and I do this every day. So if you're tired of hearing it, you probably should stop listening, because I'm just not going to stop unless it's an episode about something else, like birthday cake. Okay? But you just keep going. A lot of shit has happened over the last 2 months, and I can't tell y'all yet. I can tell y'all at the end of the year, so you're going to have to keep listening, or maybe fall, I can tell y'all. But I can't tell you too much right now. But a lot has happened and a lot is going on. And there's been some yeses and there's been some nos. And how do you keep going through the no's? I recently got a no for something that I really, really wanted. Or something that I really wanted to be a part of. We'd say that. And I was like, damn. And then you check yourself and say, that wasn't for me. And I say this often, everything ain't for you. And I know I said it last time, and this is what I was speaking on. The no I recently got in February was not for me. It was not for me. We're going to say it was not for me right now. It may be for me in the future, but it was definitely not meant for me last month. And sometimes you have to, not sometime, but you have to understand that. You have to take it in and say, okay, like, instead of what did I do wrong, why wasn't that for me? What is happening in my life, or what is going to happen in my life that made that not for me? And then sometimes you don't know right away. And I gotta put my leg up here because my leg needs to stretch. I love figuring it out. I love discovering later on or later in the day, or sometime you won't figure out till a week or two later or a month later, and you'll be like, oh, that's why that was a no, because this was already supposed to happen. This over here was supposed to happen. So recently, I got a yes on something that I want to be a part of. So I'm like, oh, that's why they told me no, because I was supposed to be a part of this one first. Got it. Or maybe I'm supposed to learn this first. So there is always a reason. And I suggest if you're one of those people that always get down when things don't work out the way you want to, or always be like, what did I do wrong? Or just really think you are not good enough. It's not that. It's not that people didn't like you. It is that is not for you yet, or that is just not for you. And you have to go after something else, whether in the same realm or you go after something else in general. But you have to keep moving. People get disappointed and they get discouraged very quickly. And you can't do that. Because once you get discouraged, you go down a spiral. You go down. And you lose your hope, and you lose your faith, and you lose contact with who you are. And you cannot do that, because what's for you may not come because you're so down. You gotta keep going. You really gotta follow the yellow brick road. You gotta follow it. You gotta have that imagination. You gotta be consistent with it. You have to be it. You gotta stand up and stand tall and straighten up your back and say, oh, this is for me, period. If you want it, you want it. And you gotta keep going after it. Keep going. But see, like I always say, I'm not here to preach to y'all, because I'm not no Sarah Jakes and I ain't no TD Jakes. Okay? But I definitely can do some preaching to you if you want me to. Exclude the Bible. I just really want to encourage you. I know we at these jobs that don't give a damn about us like that. We are in these spaces that we don't want to be in. We are trying to figure out how to move without fucking everything up. And honestly, sometimes you got to fuck shit up. Sometimes you got to shake a table or two. Sometimes you really got to move. And let it be. I want to encourage you to shake some tables. I want to encourage you to shake some shit up. And I want to encourage you to not give a fuck. Because what I'm going to do is shake some tables. What I'm going to do is stay encouraged. What I'm going to do is fuck some shit up. And hopefully I don't fuck none of my shit up in the midst of it. But if I do, guess what? I'm going to keep on going. You got to keep going. Follow your dreams. Follow your heart. Don't get caught up in these jobs, y'all. I cannot preach to you enough. Oh, I think I told y'all, but in the interview that Erykah Badu did on The Breakfast Club, she said, first, let me go back. We are all striving for perfection. And that is an issue. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you are already perfect. We are already perfect. Erykah Badu said, we were made perfect. We just don't know it yet. We are equipped with everything we need. The only time we don't feel perfect is when we're doing something that is not in our plan, and we are just trying to perfect and perfect and perfect. When we already perfect, if we just take perfection out of the equation and just be our true selves, it's already perfect. You already perfect. Go look in the mirror again. Go check yourself. I recently saw something. It's this dude that does a podcast, and it's pretty interesting. I don't remember the name of it. I see it on IG. I see like little quotes on IG, like how I be posting stuff. And he said, if you don't have a good body, stop sending nudes. And I was thinking to now, I need context. I got to finish listening to it. But just the one little clip, I'm thinking to myself, I said, oh, that's rude. First off, why are you getting nudes from bitches that you don't like? First off, why you got her number, and why are you asking for a nude? Or why you getting nudes from bitches you don't like if you don't like their body? First off, somebody said this bitch was shaped like a Capri Sun. Now that's fucking hilarious. That is. But it's dead wrong. It's fucking hilarious though. But I'm thinking like, how are you getting nudes? Heterosexual men, tell me, how are you getting nudes from people you don't like? You on Grindr? That's the only time you get news from people you don't like. You get an inbox of news. So, heterosexual men, how you get news from bitches you don't like? I'm curious. I'm gonna tag y'all in this because I'm not trying to be shady, but I really want to know. And before I tag y'all, I'm gonna go listen to it to make sure I didn't miss anything before I tag y'all niggas in this. But I am curious as to how does that happen? Like, were you drunk and you met this bitch in a club and you was blurred? Because I've been there. I've been drunk, met a nigga in a club, and then woke up like, I really did this. I really did this. And I am ashamed of myself that I did this. But we live and we learn. We live and we learn. Have you ever gotten a nude from somebody that you know and then you didn't like their body when they sent you the nude? Waist trainers. That is how they get in catfish. Men are out here getting catfish. It just came to me. Y'all getting nudes from bitches y'all don't like because their whole body is sucked up and shaped. And then when they go home, they gotta send you a nude and show you that whole body and it all come loose. That's how it's is that how it's happening? You met a chick, she was at the bar, she was real nice and everything was. She had booty. She had on some Skims. She probably had that other thing on that make your booty pop. And she done created a waistline. And then when it's time for her to do a nude, she looked like SpongeBob. That's how it's happened. Men, we ain't getting that. We haven't gotten that far yet. We showing our bodies. We like, this is what it take it or leave it. We may suck a little stomach in. But the body, men ain't really hiding their bodies like that. Gay men. T.S. Madison did an interview with Ed Lover. And I saw a clip. I got to watch this today. I got a lot to watch. And she was like, he asked her, what did he say? Do you tell men you trans? And she was like, yes, because I want my dick sucked. Period. Thank you, T.S. And then he also asked her to explain like non-binary and stuff like that. And she was like, I'm old school. When it was faggot and transsexual and gay or lesbian. She was like, so I can't answer that. So I gotta watch the rest of that to get the full context. But me and my friend were talking yesterday, and I was like, that's true. I said, I can't answer that fully because I'm not living in it. So I'm not experiencing it. I can answer it from textbook, but I can answer it from Google, but I can't answer it from a point of view, or from, not a point of view, but from experience. Because I don't know that experience. I understand it, but I don't know it because I'm an old school gay as well. When is the world going to hate the term old school gay? Are they going to try to cancel us and shut us out? The old school gays? Does that make people feel some type of way when we say old school gay? I think it does. Damn. This world is fucked up. Damn. I'm an old school gay. I am old. Because I grew up when the terms I grew up with were gay, bi, lesbian. They were using dykes as, that was a term. Trannies was a term back when I was growing up. Now, I don't like those terms. I don't use them anymore, but those were the terms that existed when I was growing up. And they were used not to describe you in a nice way. So those are reasons why I really don't like those terms, and I'm glad we stopped using them. But I still, what do I call myself? I feel like every time I'm talking to y'all one-on-one, I get lost and confused on what I am. And I guess like T.S. Madison said, you learn something about yourself being gay or yourself being trans every day. Because when you have these conversations and you sit and think, and you be like, well, what am I? Because I consider myself to be gay. But I'm queer. I love it. I love the terms. I'm here for it all. And I'm definitely going to support each and every one of us in this termship. Okay? I'm here for it. I ain't knocking none of it. I'm down. I am riding with my community. And we ride, and we ride. It's till the day that we die. To my community, okay? And that is the Black community, and that is the queer community. Period. In the podcast community. Hello, other podcasters. How you doing? Make sure you listen. Make sure you share, like, subscribe. Leave a comment. Leave a comment. Leave a question. Okay? Thank you for listening to My Black Self, the podcast. On this beautiful ass day. Stay blessed. Smoke your hookah. Smoke your weed. Drink your wine. And go watch The Wine Down with Mary J. Blige. Goodbye. Thank you for listening to My Black Self, the podcast. I love you. I do. And I will always love you. I don't need to be alone.